You know, candidly, obviously a tough day, and a tough day for a lot of people because this program means a lot to certainly myself, to Coach Anderson, to our student athletes, to all of our fans, our staff, and so again, a tough day. Even though we're limited in terms of what we can say regarding this process, and are not in a position to take questions, Coach Anderson and I felt it was important to offer a few comments. We have faced this issue head on and have worked collaboratively with the NCAA on certainly the facts and the violations, and as such, the NCAA credited us with exemplary cooperation. That is not a distinction that's afforded or regularly afforded to institutions in major infractions cases. And so I'm thankful, I'm grateful for everybody that participated in this process and in all of their hard work. The NCAA does have knowledge of our self-imposed penalties, and in the release we talk about a financial ramification for not participating in the SEC tournament and then not being eligible to participate in the NCAA tournament. We will not know those financial ramifications until more than likely following those tournaments. And again, wanted to be transparent there. The information in this release is what we're at liberty to share at this stage of the process. We asked and received information, or excuse me, we asked and received permission from both the SEC and the NCAA to provide, to share these specific details in the spirit of transparency, to provide as much context as we possibly could. And please note that this is an ongoing process, and we are hopeful this will come to conclusion sometime in the spring, but there certainly is no guarantee. Why now? Why send out the release today? You know, we really felt like we have reached that point, again, as mentioned previously, with the NCAA, where we're all on the same page regarding certainly the facts and the violations. And obviously, we felt an obligation, a need to share this information with our student athletes, first and foremost, our stakeholders, share with them the self-imposed penalties, and certainly most notably the postseason ban for this season. These are not, and I want to be very, very clear, these are not decisions we took lightly. Anytime you think about self-imposed penalties, you certainly take a lot of time in terms of your due diligence, and we did that. We did that in counsel with our outside counsel, Mike Glazier, with many people on this campus. Certainly looked at NCAA case precedents. Looked at the NCAA has a new penalty structure model. Looked at that, and so again, when we looked at the self-imposed penalties, we really felt like that was the right thing to do, first and foremost, and it will help put us in a position to move this program forward, to do the right thing for this institution. Coach Anderson and my thoughts right now are really with our student athletes, most notably Ryan Rosberg, who's our only senior. That's tough to be able to have to deliver that news to the team and to him. Just as a point of clarification, when I interviewed for this position, I was made aware of an NCAA investigation. Those involved in that interview process obviously could not share details with me and did not share details with me. But since I've arrived on campus, certainly have worked extensively from day one with our compliance office, with Mary Austin, Mitzi Clayton, to try to resolve this, navigate this process as best we could, again, to move this program forward, and certainly in the best interest of our institution. This is a special place, and we have great people here. We're going to win. We're going to win with integrity. We're going to graduate student athletes. Coach Anderson has been first class, has been a great leader in the way he's handled all of this. And when we talk about the minute I arrived on campus in working through this process, Coach Anderson was there every step of the way. He's a man of great integrity. I trust he and his staff will continue to do the right things to move this program forward and to make this program something we're all proud of. Coach Anderson.
Thanks, Mac. Good to see everyone here today. Appreciate everybody coming. A lot of things, run through your head as this has been going on for a while. I think the first thing is just to kind of reiterate what was said in the press release, and that is that I'm disappointed that the action of a few individuals have put our program in this type of situation. And to kind of echo what Mac said, I really feel bad for Ryan Rosberg. He's a senior. This is his last opportunity to perhaps play in the postseason. And he's been a great leader and a great representative of our program for 4 years. I'm not going to lie to you. For the sake of everyone involved, I'm glad a resolution is nearing. What you've read in the release is pretty much the specifics about the process, and that's kind of all we can really talk about. And that's our agreement with the NCAA and the SEC. I am proud to be a part of a university where our administration has faced this issue up front and working with the NCAA with absolute complete transparency. Prior to our meeting or our media availability this afternoon, Mac and I and Ren had the opportunity to meet with our players to discuss or to tell them about the penalties. And certainly there's a great deal of disappointment amongst them. A few questions, and following that meeting, I met with the team by myself. Following that meeting, I met with groups of 3 or 4 just to kind of discuss, see if they had any questions or see if there's anything they weren't clear about. I'm sure I know they're disappointed. We'll manage these penalties as a program. I think the major impact to these guys, these student athletes, will obviously be this year's postseason ban. Our program will persevere through great leadership. We've got great guidance from Mac and our staff. I think the future of this program is predicated on representing the university with the utmost class, honor, and integrity. I agreed with Mack Rhoades on this decision to self-impose, but I don't necessarily like it. But just because of the impact it has on student athletes, our current student athletes, and they're the ones that are most affected. But given the circumstances, we, all of us felt like we needed to take this responsibility, self-impose, and then move forward as quickly as possible. I've had the opportunity to visit with the individuals, the recruits that we sign, have been with their families, with their moms or dads. Kids are in school. Conversations have gone well, and they are fully aware that by the time they get here in the fall, that there will be no postseason restrictions. I'd also like to commend Rob Wolford and Brad Luce for the class that they brought in last season, and we got to continue to build momentum from there. You know, I know this is a tough day for me because, not only because of this, but because of what happened last night. And I say that with a little bit of humor, but we need the support of our fans and students. This team is going to continue playing and working to represent the university at a high level. And I remain committed to bringing the program back to the level we all expect it to be.